Exclusive signed novel by Feilu Novel Network. I sign in at Kamen Rider. Reborn into the Kamen Rider world, bound to the sign-in system. Start with a Dark Emperor riding belt. The equipment in the back relies entirely on picking up. Xian Qiao said, "Do you have a black deep red drill?" Pen King. Why is his speed even faster than mine? Wang Xiaoming. The burlap of the bridge, how can he be stronger than me? He knows my lines. Fei Jian or Ren. Jiangnan, when will you return the is you borrowed from me? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. Opening Dark Emperor Rider Drive. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 9 in the morning and 5 in the evening. Finally arrived. Jiangnan looked at the watch shop in front of him and whispered. The 9 to 5 hall is a small shop specializing in repairing clocks and watches. Its appearance looks very ordinary and difficult to attract the attention of others. No one will come here unless they are here to repair the clock. For ordinary people, it is very unfamiliar and inconspicuous. But for fans of Kamen Rider, this watch shop is definitely not unfamiliar. It is the place where the protagonist of the Kamen Rider, the male protagonist, often resides. Changpan Zhuangwu, it is the king of Kamen Riders. Jiangnan is a traveler. He himself doesn't know why after watching teacher Tsangtsang's big movie. Upon waking up, he arrived in the world of the Kamen Rider's former king. As an orphan in his previous life, he easily accepted time travel. The only thing I can't accept is coming into the world of Kamen Riders. He is a fan of tokusatsu. I am very familiar with Kamen Rider, one of the 3 major close-up shots of the Japanese country. It is precisely because of familiarity that it is somewhat difficult to accept. It is not an exaggeration to say that no world is more dangerous than the world of Kamen Riders. Conan is amazing, isn't he? Wherever he goes, wherever he dies. In front of the Kamen Rider, it is a younger brother. Where he went, it was still light to see a few people die. I'm not sure, the whole world will disappear directly. The danger index for survival in the world of Kamen Riders is as high as 5 stars at full level. Fortunately, during the journey through Jiangnan, I activated my golden finger. The check.in system. Sign-in system, as the name suggests. As long as you sign in, you can receive various rewards. Jiangnan is still very satisfied with the check.in system. The check.in system is not like other systems. If you can't complete the task, your lifespan will be reduced by 10 years or your second brother will be shortened by 10 centimeters. Or there are various time constraints when publishing tasks. The check.in system is a purely auxiliary system. The significance of its existence is to assist the host and provide services to the host. If you hate it, you can directly block it and never use it. Jiangnan not only uses a check.in system, but also has a very careful understanding of it. There is no way, to survive in the world of Kamen Riders, one must become stronger. Without strength, one may die at any time in this world full of exotic knights. And his way to become stronger is through the check.in system. The check.in system can be used once a day. However, there are some special distinctions when checking in. The regulations given to them by Jiangnan are regular check.in and VIP check.in. Regular check.in is very simple, Jiangnan just needs to check in at the check.in system casually. After signing in, receive rewards immediately. There are certain restrictions on VIP check.in. Jiangnan needs to be close to the special character area in the Kamen Rider world in order to sign in. After signing in, you can receive generous rewards. After arriving at the 9 to 5 hall, the check.in page in Jiangnan turned red. Red refers to the VIP check.in page. White refers to the regular check.in page. System, I need to sign in. Jiangnan spoke with his mind. It has been several days since I traveled to this world. Today, it was his first time starting to sign in. The check.in system has indicated that the reward for the first check.in is very generous. In order to receive generous rewards, Jiangnan has been enduring not being able to sign in. Ding! Host check.in successful. In my mind, a soft voice of Loli rang out from the check.in system. The sound of the system can be modulated freely in Jiangnan. As the check.in system sounded, a red light flashed in Jiangnan's mind. That looks like a scene of opening a special treasure chest while playing games. The duration of the light is brief and then disappears. Ding! The host has obtained Dracticade Drive X1, Dark Emperor Rider Drive, and check. In points of X 10,000. As the system beeped, Jiangnan's hand sank. A driver with white sides, black inner edges, and blue center appears in the hand. When it appeared, a gloomy and pitch-black energy emanated from it. Dark Emperor Rider Drive. Jiangnan's gaze fixed, with a deep shock on his face. 2. Wang Xiaoming's Dimensional Wall Ability. Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dracticade Drive, Dark Emperor Rider Drive. Jiangnan looked at the shape-shifting device in his hand, his face filled with shock and excitement. Kamen Rider Wang Xiaoming is not unfamiliar to anyone who likes Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider Emperor is definitely the most outstanding among many Kamen Riders. And the Dark Masked Knight, Emperor Rider, is somewhat special. He did not appear in the world of Kamen Riders. The Dark Emperor Rider is a hidden character in the Kamen Rider game. But his strength data surpasses that of the Kamen Rider Wang Xiaoming. Obtaining the Dark Emperor Rider Drive is enough to protect the King's world during the Kamen Rider era. Jiangnan, who was carefully observing the Dark Emperor's ride driver, suddenly paused in expression. He suddenly realized that he had not mastered the card box. Control card box. The normal state is a box containing Kamen Rider cards. During combat, it can be transformed into controlling a card box sword or a card box gun. Spears and swords are not important for now. How can he change form without controlling the card box? System, did you give less? Jiangnan asked with his mind. Returning to the host, no. The sound of the check.in system echoed in my mind. Jiangnan. I only have a Dark Emperor riding driver, can you tell me? Have you ever seen a Kamen Rider before, young master? Returning to the host, the reward for your check.in is the Dark Emperor Rider Drive. The check.in system explains. Therefore, the host's reward is the driver and 2 original knight cards. Jiangnan. Upon receiving an explanation, he quickly found 2 knight cards in the Dark Emperor Rider Drive. Unlike the Kamen Rider Wang Xiaoming, his knight cards come in various colors. For example, red is a Kamen Rider card, and gold is a must-kill skill card. The knight cards in Jiangnan's hands are all of the same color. The only difference is the pattern on top. One is a knight card with a black head pattern. If nothing unexpected happens, this is his transformation card. The other one is a knight card in the shape of a black barcode. As a fan of tokusatsu, Jiangnan is not unfamiliar. This type of knight card is a skill card for Kamen Riders. The shape of the barcode belongs only to 2 Kamen Riders. The Emperor Rider, Deck, and the End Rider, D-End. The knight card in his hand is the skill card of the Dark Emperor's cavalry. Transform knight card and skill knight card, 1 each. Compared to Wang Xiaoming, Jiangnan finds itself poor. A stroke. You know, this guy can transform into any Kamen Rider form. He can only change one now. Completely incomparable. The host doesn't have to worry, the sound of the check.in system rings. The host checks in every day and has a certain chance of obtaining night cards from other Kamen riders. In addition, there is also a certain chance to obtain the drive of other Kamen riders upon hearing the system's words. Jiangnan nodded silently. Just get it, I'm afraid there are only these 2 night cards left. With a movement of his mind, the Dark Emperor's ride driver was put away by him. It is very easy to store a drive with a check.in system in place. By the system, I transformed into the Kamen rider. Dark Emperor rider. Jiangnan asked with his mind. Does it mean that when I was in the human body, I also had the same ability as Wang Xiaoming? When Wang Xiaoming was in human form, he also had no merits. However, he has a very inexplicable ability. That is the dimensional wall. Come and go freely, shuttle the world. The use of dimensional walls is very large. Returning to the host is now the Kamen rider. Dark Emperor rider, naturally possessing dimensional wall abilities. The check.in system opens with a reply. However, the host has just begun to merge and is not yet familiar with this power. When the host is fully integrated, it can be used freely after answering. Add another sentence to the check.in system. Host, please use dimensional walls with caution as they consume a lot of energy. Jiangnan nodded and then set his gaze on the opposite side of the 9 to 5 hall. He came here to sign in as a VIP. In the world of Kamen riders, there are many special characters. For example, the transformation of the previous Kamen rider. They are all special beings, equivalent to his VIP. Once you find them, you can proceed with VIP check.in. The only problem is that there is no protagonist halo in Jiangnan. Even if one is familiar with the plot of the Kamen Rider King, it is difficult for Jiangnan to find them one by one. Even if it can be found, it is still a waste of time. Jiangnan cannot afford to drag. Who knows, where will Changpan's Wangwu go after obtaining the Knight's Dial? That kind of thing has already exceeded the plot. But there is one exception, which is Changpan Zhuang. As a Kamen rider, the protagonist of the King's World. It is not an exaggeration to say that even if he sneezes, he may encounter those special characters. This is the purpose of Jiangnan's arrival at the 9 to 5 hall. Use the protagonist aura of Changpan Zhuang to find those special characters. Then it's VIP check.in. 3. Kamen Rider. Repair Rider. New book collection request. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiangnan withdrew his mind and looked towards the 9 night 5 halls. What needs to be done now is to approach Changpan Zhuang perfectly. This task is not difficult. It can even be said that it is very easy. The protagonists in the world of Kamen riders have a common flaw. The Virgin Mary. They are very kind. As long as we take advantage of this weakness, we can maximize our own benefits. Jiangnan has no remorse for using others. Crossing into the world of Kamen riders for no reason. If there is no strength to protect him, he will die very tragically. Not everyone is Changpan's Wangwu, with a protagonist halo on them. Others die in various ways, but he lives well. People are not for themselves, heaven and earth will perish. So next, we will first learn how to ride Kamen riders. And then repair them. Squeezing. Jiangnan pushed open the door and entered the 9 to 5 hall. After entering, the living room caught the eye. The internal structure of the 9 to 5 hall is not very large, but it is very neat and orderly. The items are arranged perfectly, giving a very comfortable visual experience. At the counter in front of the living room, an elderly person with eyes is repairing an old-fashioned recorder. Repairing this in a watch shop is a very strange thing. Jiangnan was not surprised at all. He, who is familiar with the plot, greatly admires the old man in front of him. Kamen rider, Shochi, is definitely one of the super key characters in the world of Time Kings. You should know. the person in front of him can even repair the Kamen Rider dial and the Electric King train. In this world, he is undoubtedly a top-notch repair master. Hello, are you here to repair something? When Jiangnan entered, Changpan Shunichiro, who was busy, spoke up. Let's talk about it first. I only repair clocks. Repairing a clock is the most enjoyable task for Shunichiro-chan. Even if it's not for money. Unfortunately, almost all the things repaired by him are abnormal. Old-style radios, televisions, air conditioners, refrigerators. And so on. All kinds of electrical appliances are available. The most impressive thing is that Shunichiro Changban really fixed it for you. In addition, he is kind-hearted and not good at rejecting other customers. Therefore he can hardly repair a watch for a month. Upon hearing Shunichiro Chang's words, the corners of Jiangnan's lips slightly curled up. He reached out his hand and took out a watch that had been prepared in advance. Boss, can this be repaired? Jiangnan whispered softly. I would like to reiterate that I only repair clocks. When speaking, Ichiro Panshun instinctively raised his head. Just as his head was lifted, his eyes suddenly widened. Watch. Ting-ting-ting-ting, Changpan Shunichiro quickly approached Jiangnan. This guest, please make sure to hand it over to me. While speaking, he snatched the clock without waiting for Jiangnan's answer. Come on, sit down and have tea. Changpan Shunichiro became several times hotter and clearer. Serving tea and water is incredibly thoughtful. Jiangnan. This watch. Well, there's a big problem. Changpan Shunichiro carefully inspected it and then quickly said. But don't worry, I will definitely fix it for you. If it's convenient, you can leave an address. After fixing it, I will send it to you by mail or call to notify you. Upon hearing his words, Jiannan's gaze flickered slightly. Boss, I just arrived here and now I have no fixed residence. Jiangnan stood up and approached him. Do you know where houses can be rented out? If possible, I would like to rent a house. Changpan Shunichiro was stunned and then widened his eyes. It sounds so clever. I just tidied up the room on the second floor today and am preparing to rent it out. Young man, you can go and take a look. If you're satisfied, I'll give you a discounted price. Boss, I rented it. Jiangnan Road is decisive. Shunichiro Changpan. His goal is to approach Changpan Zhuang. The best approach is to live under the same roof. In the original plot, there was a section about renting a house. Jiangnan chose to use a watch to bring up this topic. The topic has already emerged, only fools will bargain. During his time traveling, the check.in system gave him some money for emergency response. Even if it's not enough, you can exchange your check.in points for Japanese coins in the check.in system mall. Changpan Shunichiro was a bit dazed. This is the first time he has encountered such a tenant. I agreed without even looking at the house. Young man, let me take you to the second floor first to take a look. After regaining consciousness, Changpan Shunichiro slowly said. Readers, please come in. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Masked Rider Novels. As a pure newbie, I don't know what to say. Just say something simple. 1 reward, 1 watch. 500 flowers, plus 1 watch. 100 reviews, plus 1 update. 30 comments, plus 1 update. Except for the first one asking for money, all other things require readers to move their fingers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 4. Dazzling was, meeting Zhuang Wu for the first time. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiangnan, how do you feel about this room? Changpan Shunichiro asked. At this point, the two of them have already met. What Changpan Shinichiro didn't know was that Jiangnan had already known him. Upon hearing Shinichiro Chang's words, Jiangnan observed the house in front of him. The house is very clean and tidy, giving people a very comfortable feeling. This room is very nice. Jiangnan glanced briefly, then withdrew his gaze and said back. Actually, even if it's not good, he would still say it's good. After all, his purpose is to sign in. However, it is truly the place where the Kamen rider cultivates and resides. The cleanliness and tidiness far exceeded his expectations. It's really great if you can like it. Changpan Shinichiro smiled and said. However, you still need to purchase some of the utensils inside yourself. He quickly reminded Jiangnan. Renting a house requires a lot of preparation. Jiangnan nodded and then signed the lease agreement. After the contract was signed, Changpan Shinichiro was busy repairing the clock. It's been a long time since a clock guest came to visit, and he can't wait now. Jiangnan, on the other hand, leaves the morning and evening halls first. Shinichiro Changban is right, he does need to buy some daily necessities. For example, clothes and shoes. He has nothing to replace except for the clothes on his body. The location of the 9 to 5 hall is very good. It won't be long before you enter the pedestrian street. Jiangnan simply buys some things and then goes back to meet a young man. He is carrying a backpack and pushing a bicycle. Changpan Zhuang Wu. Jiangnan paused in his footsteps and whispered softly. In the morning and evening halls, there are photos of him, and it is easy for Jiangnan to recognize him. Undoubtedly the male number one in the world of Kamen riders. Whether it's temperament or appearance, they are all top-notch. After the fusion of the Kamen rider and the Dark Emperor, Jiangnan still felt a faint and immense power on him. Thinking about his identity, it is not surprising that he possesses such powerful power. Do you know me? Changpan Zhuang, who was returning home, stopped and looked at Jiangnan with some confusion. He was extremely certain that he didn't even know the young man in front of him. I am a tenant of your house and have seen your photo in the lobby. Jiangnan smiled slightly and explained. Tenant. Changpan Zhuang was a little surprised, and then smiled and said. So it's like this. From now on, please take good care of me, take good care of yourself. Jiangnan, please answer. The two of them briefly introduced themselves. After getting to know each other, the two of them walked together. Zhuang Wu, have you encountered something? Jiangnan looked at him with a worried expression and said curiously. There is a system in place, and he knows that the plot has not started yet. It's not a big deal, it's just that I didn't pass the exam. Changpan Zhuang is very unwilling. I was born to be king, why do I have to take an exam? Jiangnan. In the original plot, Changpan Zhuang's grades were really not good. Jiangnan remembers that this guy seemed to have passed the exam by utilizing the abilities of Shi Wang's second level. As Jiangnan was about to speak, his eyebrows suddenly raised. He raised his eyes slightly and looked at a person wearing a coat not far ahead. The whole person was covered in a coat, looking incredibly strange. Changpan Zhuang also discovered him. He pushed his bicycle and kept a distance from him while walking. Jiangnan's gaze flickered and he let out a faint sound. VIP figures. Approaching Blackwater for check.in is VIP check.in. Unfortunately, if you want to sign a second time, you have to wait until the next day. He has many options for checking in tomorrow. Check-in at Changpanzhuang is also a VIP sign-in. While pondering in Jiangnan, Hiwozi was very puzzled. According to the history of encountering demons, today is a very memorable day for his demon lord, Changpanzhuang. But the book records that only his demon lord was there. What exactly happened? Why is there a second person next to his demon lord? For a moment, meowed and doubted whether his book was true. Most importantly, he felt a huge sense of danger in Jiangnan. Ordinary people don't have that ability. Who the hell is this guy? Step by step Waza's doubts were uncertain, and Changpan's Wangwu gradually approached. As he was about to pass by, Waz couldn't help but think about the origin of Jiangnan. His figure turned and blocked in front of Changpan P.S. Thank you to the Avulto Black Hole readers for their generous feedback and for adding an extra chapter. Xiaoming from the book review section has read it, but has not replied yet. As many readers know, on the day of the release of Fei Lu's novel, there were countless comments on it. Xiaoming is hesitant to reply to readers with big questions until he is unsure about writing. Everyone can cast their flowers, reviews, and comments in their hands. If there is such a glimmer of hope in the grades, Xiaoming will keep writing. 5. Was Doubt's Life. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Waza's figure turned and quickly blocked in front of Changpan's Wangwu. Changpan's Wangwu, who was walking on his bicycle, looked visibly shocked. He looked at the person in front of him in disbelief. After careful consideration, Changpan's Wangwu realized that he had never offended anyone at school. He doesn't even have friends, where did he offend anyone? So, there won't be anyone robbing him halfway. Is it Changpan's Wangwu set his gaze on Jiangnan beside him. Jiangnan, was he looking for you? Changpan asked. Of course not, he's here to find you. Jiangnan answered lightly. Looking for me. But I don't know him. Changpan was a bit stunned. What can he do to find me? Perhaps he wants to remind you of something. Jiangnan's lips slightly raised upwards. Remind me. At this moment, Changpan became even more puzzled. What did he remind me? Not only Changpan's Wangwu, but also was a bit confused at this moment. There is something wrong with the development of the situation. The sudden appearance of this guy completely messed up his plan. Not to mention that, felt a bit caught off guard. Blind, it must be blind. They are meeting for the first time today, how could they possibly know their purpose? Comforted himself with a sentence. At this moment, Jiangnan spoke again. He may want to remind you to be careful of red robots or something. In the coat, Waza's eyes widened abruptly. Round as an egg. He looked at Jiangnan in shock. How could this guy know his purpose for coming? Who the hell is he? Is already messy in the wind and suspicious of life. The face of Changpan next to him was very stunned. He looked at and asked, is what Jiangnan said true? It's so difficult for me. Felt like crying without tears at this moment. At the same time, he secretly remembered the name Jiangnan in his heart. Lord Demon, what he said is true. Tun paused for a moment before finishing his sentence. Lord Demon, please be careful of the red robot. After speaking intermittently, shook his scarf. In the next moment, disappeared directly in place. Waza's mood at this moment was very complicated, almost like talking about a dog. He prepared for a long time for today's first meeting with Lord Demon. However, the progress of the matter is completely different from what he imagined. Hurriedly left. Lord Demon, let's put it aside for now. He needs to investigate the origin of Jiangnan. Gudong. Left, and Changpan's Wangwu widened his eyes and swallowed his saliva. Jiangnan, has he disappeared? Changpan's Wangwu had a ghostly expression on his face. He disappeared from our sight. When he exclaimed, he suddenly realized that Jiangnan was not at all nervous or surprised. Jiangnan, are you not surprised? Changpan's Wang is quiet and introverted. He suddenly realized that the Jiangnan he just met today was not ordinary. If others had seen the scene just now, they might have been surprised. Jiangnan behaves like a normal person. Surprise. In the world of Kamen riders, this is just a basic operation, okay? Zhuang Wu, instead of him disappearing, you should worry about the current situation. Jiangnan raised his head and said lightly. Above, a wormhole-shaped light hole suddenly appeared in the originally calm air. Immediately after, a giant robot dominated by red appeared. When encountering demons, the king. I finally found you. In the red time magic machine, a voice with a huge murderous aura can be heard. I instinctively heard the sound and looked at Zhuang. When he saw the huge red robot, he collapsed to the ground. He suddenly remembered what Jiangnan had said to that mysterious person. So. That's not a joke. Jiangnan, I'm dead. Please help me convey this to my uncle. Zhuang looked desperate. In the next life, I will repay his nurturing kindness again. Jiangnan. Covered in black lines. Zhuang Wu, don't worry, you won't die. Jiangnan Light Road. He, who possesses the aura of the protagonist, finds it difficult to die. Wait a moment, moon reading will come out to save him. If Yueshu cannot come, Jiangnan will not allow him to die for the sake of his VIP check.in. He dare not be interested in the matter of the Virgin Mary. In order to become stronger, he must do it. Strength is the trump card for speaking in the world of Kamen riders. Jiangnan, can't I really die? Zhuang seemed to have grabbed the last life-saving straw and quickly asked. The murderous aura emanating from the red robot made him enter the ice cave. I can't die. Jiangnan pulled him up. When answering, there was a flash of light in the air. A huge white robot appears. Bang! A huge collision sound sounded. 6. Curious Fat Reading. Seeking Collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Bang! A loud bang. The red time magic machine was suddenly attacked and hit, flying away. Large sparks flashed on it. Hurry up. As the red time magic machine flew backwards, a crisp sound sounded. Immediately after, a door appeared in the middle of the white time magic machine. Let's go in. Jiangnan looked in the direction of the gate's magic machine and spoke up. Without hesitation, Zhuang quickly followed over. He can already confirm. If you are attacked by the huge robot in front of you, you will definitely have nothing left. After entering Jiangnan and Zhuang, the white time magic machine quickly disappeared. Damn it! In the red time magic machine, a young man in black and red stripes let out a low voice. When encountering demons, you can't run away. Gates gritted his teeth and muttered murderously to himself. I'm saved. Zhuang collapsed on the ground. Jiangnan stood aside, his gaze fixed on the girl across from him. Moon Reading, Kamen Rider is the female protagonist in the world of kings. It has to be said that the monthly reading at this time is still very beautiful. Wearing a white dress gives a very fresh and lovely visual impression. It's hard to believe Jiangnan. Such a beautiful girl, how could she become chubby in the later stages? Although fat reading is also very kawaii, it is less than before. At this time, the monthly reading feels the most. After all, it's monthly reading now. Jiangnan, how do you know someone will come to save us? After regaining his composure, Zhuang looked at Jiangnan and asked. At this moment, he finally realized what was wrong with the situation. Why does Jiangnan seem to understand everything and know everything? Vanishing out of thin air, a huge robot. No matter which one, ordinary people find it difficult to appear so calm after seeing it, right? Hey! The voice of Zhuang fell, and the moon read softly. She blinked her big, starry eyes and was also curious. Jiangnan. She whispered the name of Jiangnan and then said. My name is you do you? Know that I will come to save you? Jiangnan nodded. Seeing him confirm, the monthly reading became even more curious. She had never seen such a prominent figure in Jiangnan in her original world. How did he know he would save Zhuang? Or is it that he was blind? In Yuedu's heart, she had the same idea as was. She temporarily ignored Changpan's Wangwu and stared at Jiangnan with big eyes. Can you explain the reason? Reason. The corners of Jiangnan's mouth slightly curled up. Others would never know, but he is very clear. After all, he is familiar with the plot. The reason is very simple. Jiangnan also looks towards the moon reading. Gates wants to kill Zhuang, but you have a disagreement with him. I feel that the disaster caused by the future Demon King cannot be attributed to him in the past. Therefore, you are the one who saved Zhuang monthly reading. She widened her bright eyes and stared blankly at Jiangnan. How could this be? He said exactly what he said. That's right, that's the biggest reason she saved Zhuang. But she hasn't told anyone about it. If he was blind in the early stages, it can be confirmed now that he really knows. At the same time of surprise, the curiosity in the heart of Yu began to expand infinitely. Jiangnan, can you still talk about what you know? Monthly reading and asking again. I also know that you will change your name in the future. Jiangnan smiled and said. The smile on my face is very inexplicable. Me. Change your name. Moon reading, blinking, big eyes. What is my name in the future? Fat reading. Monthly reading. You read was stunned for a while, then she withdrew her gaze. She temporarily suppressed her curiosity. Compared to Jiangnan, she has more important things to do at this time. You, come here. She pointed at Zhuang and spoke. Compared to her conversation with Jiangnan, she has a very indifferent attitude towards Changpan's Wangwu. Zhuang gave her a weak glance and then walked forward. Ye reached out her hands and began to click on the screen. At the next moment, a video will be played on the virtual screen. The first thing that catches the eye is a Kamen knight with a full body of wealthy gold. Just a video recording, Jiangnan felt a huge pressure when he saw the future king of encountering demons. When encountering demons, the king is the strongest in the world of Kamen Rider, and there is no one. The recording time was not long, and the three of them watched it quickly. After reading it, Yuedu turned around and looked at Zhuang. 7. The Protagonist's Halo, Born King. Seeking Collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yuedu turned around and looked at Zhuang, saying solemnly. The person on the screen is you. You in the next 50 years. That person. Is it me? Upon hearing this, Zhuang pointed to his nose and said. He has carefully watched the video just now. The person with a golden body is like a great demon king. Countless areas were destroyed by him, and countless people died because of him. How could I be such a person? That person is you. Moon reading in a cold voice. In the future, you have created a hopeless disaster world. Countless people have perished because of your family, and countless regions have suffered tremendous damage because of you. That's why Gates chose to go back to the past to kill you and change history. No, this is not true. Zhuang took a few steps back and roared with a frightened expression. Jiangnan stood aside and did not speak. His reaction is understandable. Anyone who knew such a thing would happen to themselves would probably find it difficult to accept. I didn't deceive you at all. Moon reading looked at Zhuang and spoke up. Actually, she doesn't need to explain. Zhuang has already believed it. Otherwise, Gates wouldn't kill so many people in the whole of Japan. Unfortunately, I only came to find him. Zhuang collapsed on the ground, ignoring the monthly reading. Jiangnan looked at him, his gaze flickering slightly. Tang. At this moment, Zhuang, who had been feeling lost all along, suddenly stood up. He looked at the monthly reading with serious eyes. Monthly reading, my childhood dream was to become a king. I was born a king. But I will definitely not be that kind of demon king. As he spoke, Zhuang's aura changed. If I become a demon king in the future, I will also be the kind of benevolent and kind demon king. Jiangnan's eyes narrowed slightly. Undoubtedly, he is the protagonist of the Kamen Rider era in the world of kings, and indeed comes with a halo. In front of me, I was still feeling lost and down, and now I have become full of vitality. For his words, the monthly reading did not answer. If he could do it, it would be the best thing. Bang! Just as the three people in Jiangnan fell silent, the time magic machine was suddenly attacked. The strong vibration caused Zhuang to collide heavily with the internal wall. The bone marrow-like pain seeped into his face, making him pale and his expression twitching. Jiangnan stood in place without any impact. It's Gates, he's chasing after us. Yu was stunned for a moment and quickly spoke up. You two sit down 2 by 2, I'll get rid of him now. During the conversation, Moon Reading controlled the time magic machine to fly towards the sky. While flying, Jiangnan heard the cries of many dinosaurs. The time and space they are currently in is the dinosaur era of the Cretaceous period. Bang bang. Bang bang. After entering the time wormhole, the Time King time magic machine and the Gates time magic machine began to collide. The two fought without leaving a hand. At this moment, Gates must kill Zhuang. Jiangnan, can we defeat that red robot? Zhuang led Yu Jingdao. Unable to defeat. Jiangnan didn't even think about it, just answered directly. Although Gates is an unlimited loser, he is also a Kamen Rider. The current monthly reading is not his match. You don't have to worry, that red robot won't hurt you. After hearing the words, Zhuang's face became very frightened. Jiangnan slowly added a sentence. Zhuang Wu. What is this? Just as Zhuang was chatting with Jiangnan, he suddenly froze. Reaching out his hand, Zhuang Wu took out a black night dial from his pocket. Zhuang looked back and forth, his expression very puzzled. This strange thing is the first time he has seen it. Jiangnan's gaze flickered. There was no activated night dial. Suddenly, his spirit flashed. Jiangnan suddenly remembered that Was had recently approached Zhuang Wu. Can you say at that time, it was secretly put inside? When Jiangnan guessed, Yu, who was driving the time magic machine, widened his eyes. That night's dial bang. In a moment of confusion, Gates attacked. After being heavily hit, the Time King's time magic machine flew backwards towards the edge of the nearby time wormhole. The light flickered and disappeared. Red time magic machine Gates. After a moment of confusion, Gates said in a low voice. When encountering demons, you can't run away. 8. Transform, Dark Emperor Rider. With pictures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom. The time magic machine of the Time King lost control and landed heavily on the ground. Fortunately, the driving skills of the monthly reading are very good. A few people from Jiangnan have not been greatly affected. After stabilizing the time magic machine, the three people from Jiangnan walked down from inside. At the moment of landing, Jiangnan's gaze suddenly froze. It is snowing around him at this moment. How could it be snow? Jiangnan let out a secret sound. According to the original plot, didn't he go to ancient times for the second time traveling through time and space? System, what is the situation? Jiangnan asked with his mind. If the check.in system is his first golden finger. So, being familiar with the plot is his second golden finger. By utilizing the plot development, he can approach those special characters in advance for check.in. But now, things are not as simple as he imagined. Returning to the host, butterfly effect. The sound of the check.in system echoed in my mind. The butterfly effect. Yes, host. The check.in system explains. Due to the arrival of the host, there have been some changes in the world of the Kamen Rider. In the plot known to the host, some small plots will disappear or undergo changes from the original plot. However, the core plot will not be affected upon hearing the explanation from the check.in system. Jiangnan breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the core plot remains unchanged. Jiangnan didn't pay much attention to other minor plot changes. Hiss, it's so cold. When Jiangnan was conversing with the check.in system, the voice of Zhuang shivering came from beside him. Even the monthly reading has shrunk its neck. Around them, there was heavy snowfall with goose feathers falling. The temperature instantly dropped to a negative value, which even adults couldn't bear, let alone a young girl. Jiangnan, are you not cold? Zhuang asked while stomping his feet. He found that Jiangnan was standing in place, but there was no change at all. Not only him, but even the monthly reading looks like a curious baby. This unknown Jiangnan is really too strange and mysterious. Jiangnan shook his head. Then he looked around and a nearby billboard caught his attention. The time is 2017. This date, indeed, has arrived in the world of the Kamen Rider's build. Jiangnan, let's find a place to stay first. Zhuang spoke up and said. It's really too cold around here. If it continues like this, it will freeze people to death. Yuedu didn't speak, but her face turned pale with cold. Jiangnan nodded and the three of them walked towards the street ahead. Before walking for a few minutes, the three people from Jiangnan stopped at the same pace. In front of them, a monster appeared with an ice-blue upper body and a gray-white lower body. Roar! When it saw the three people in Jiangnan, it let out a deep roar. Step by step. Step by step. The ice-blue monster slowly walked towards them. As the monster approached, the surrounding temperature decreased again. Slayer. A monster unique to the Kamen Rider build world. From its aura, it belongs to the Ice Slayer. Has the plot changed slightly again? Jiangnan whispered to himself. In the original plot, there was no such segment. Encountering monsters now only indicates that the plot has changed again. Jiangnan, Zhuangwu, you go first. Yaya took out her Fia's phone and spoke loudly. Whoosh! During the conversation, Yaya suddenly pulled the trigger. A ray of light shot out from the Fia's phone's pistol mode. Bang! A spark appeared on the ice striker. Its footsteps suddenly stopped. Roar! Under attack, the Ice Slayer let out angry cries. It extended its extremely sharp palm, with bullet ice clotting on it. The Ice Slayer waved fiercely and attacked towards the moon reading. The flying speed of those ice bullets is as fast as lightning. Moon reading stood in place, closing her eyes in despair. At this moment, she suddenly felt a tightness in her monthly schedule. At the next moment, my body unexpectedly took off. She opened her eyes curiously, only to find that she had retreated 5 or 6 meters. Bang bang. At her location, a splash of snow water splashed. Looking through the snowflakes, several potholes appeared on the slate floor. If attacked, it is definitely either death or disability. At the same time as feeling scared after the monthly reading, I was also very skeptical. At the attack speed of that monster, ordinary people can't dodge it at all. Jiangnan. What kind of sacred place is it? In the heart of the monthly reading, I am even more curious. Suddenly, her little face turned red again. Yudu suddenly realized that her waist was being held by Jiangnan. And she herself tightly hugged Jiangnan. She was stunned for a moment and quickly let go of Jiangnan. On the delicate little face, there is red bleeding. Jiangnan, Zhuangwu, let's escape quickly. After regaining his senses, Yu read busily. Escape. Why do you want to escape? Jiangnan stood in place, his mouth slightly curved. Monthly reading. 9. The First Battle in Jiangnan. Seeking collection. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Yuedu stood still, feeling a bit confused. Her appearance at this moment looks very silly and cute. I found that I couldn't keep up with the pace of thinking in Jiangnan. Why do you want to escape? Is this still worth asking? Of course it's for survival. They are not even opponents of that monster. The monthly reading did not notice that there was a faint excitement in Jiangnan's eyes. That's right, he is indeed excited. Today is his first battle as the Kamen Rider Dracticade. As for running away, that's purely a dream. At the speed demonstrated by the attack in front of the Ice Slayer, they couldn't escape at all. It is not an exaggeration to say that the Ice Slayer can easily defeat them. Seeing Jiangnan remain indifferent, Yuedu is about to speak. Suddenly, she widened her eyes. In her sparkling eyes, there was an indescribable shock. At some point, a driver appeared in Jiangnan's hand. Monthly reading is very familiar with what drives represent. Having a drive means that Jiangnan can transform into a Kamen Rider. More importantly, that kind of drive with a black and white surface and a blue central area, it's her first time seeing it. It's different from the drives of Gates and the Demon King. Next to Changpan's Wangwu, who was trembling, there was not much fluctuation. At this time, he was not yet familiar with the Kamen Rider driver. You guys stay away. Jiangnan makes a faint sound. As he spoke, he placed the Dark Emperor riding driver around his waist. At the next moment, 2 silver white straps were fixed to his waist. Jiangnan pulled his hands on the drive of the Dark Emperor's ride. Immediately after, a knight card appeared in his hand. Quickly inserted into the drive, and Jiangnan pushes it with both hands. Kamen Ride Decade. A slightly muffled sound effect sounded. Phantoms flickered around Jiangnan, followed by several black barcodes appearing in the air. Kaka, those black barcodes landed on the head of Jiangnan. At the next moment, a masked knight with a black and yellow cross symbol appeared in front of the Xiongnu, dominated by black and gray. The head is covered in black barcodes, but the compound eyes are blue. Overall, it looks incredibly mysterious. So, what is that? Zhuang widened his eyes in surprise. Kamen Rider. Moon Reading stared at Jiangnan and answered him. A Kamen Rider I've never seen before. Somewhere. Oh. A middle-aged man sitting behind the curtain emitted a faint voice of doubt. It seems that the history of being young has begun to undergo unexpected changes. Interesting. Another location. A young man wearing a purple leather jacket suddenly opened his eyes. Is there an unknown number of people emerging as a new force? The young man let out a faint voice, with a cold smile on his face. No matter who it is, nothing can stop my plan. A certain room. Aha! A girl who was playing the piano suddenly stopped. The big eyes, even more dazzling than the star diamond, blinked, and the delicate little face had a puzzled expression. Is this the power of the Dark Emperor's cavalry? After transforming, Jiangnan looked at his hands. He felt his whole body filled with a very violent force. A punch can easily destroy the rock. Roar, the Ice Slayer on the opposite side, upon seeing Jiangnan transform, quickly charged towards him. The movement speed of the Ice Slayer is very fast, but it becomes exceptionally slow under the compound eyes of Jiangnan. Bang! Jiangnan was the first to launch an attack before the Ice Slayer could strike. Raise the black fist and hit it with a fierce momentum. Sparks splatter everywhere. The Ice Slayer let out a scream and took several steps back in a row. Roar! Being hit by the first attack from Jiangnan, the Ice Slayer let out an angry roar. It extends its hands, with dozens of ice blocks and bullets condensing on its palms. Whoosh, whoosh, the Ice Striker pushed forward fiercely, and the attack of the ice bullet flew over. When Jiangnan released its skills, it flashed to a nearby building. Utilizing architecture, evaded the attack of the Ice Striker. As for the unsightly buildings that were destroyed, Jiangnan directly ignored them. He is not the protagonist of those Kamen riders. As long as he is fine, he has no psychological burden when everything else is destroyed. After dodging the skill of the Ice Slayer, Jiangnan quickly approached it. Whoosh! The right leg suddenly lifted upwards, and a side kick hit its chest. Large sparks splattered out. The ice batter fell heavily to the ground. After fighting against it for a while, Jiangnan extended his right hand. A Kamen Rider card with a barcode avatar of the Dark Emperor appears in hand PS. It's not all about the storyline of Wang, there will be some degree of magic modification. Thank you very much for your feedback. There will be an update tonight. Based on the amount of rewards, there are at least 2 chapters left. Thank you for your support. The evaluation ticket is almost reaching its target, readers should cheer up, and there may be another chapter tonight. Quan Feilu's most humble condition is to add more time. If you dare to move your fingers, Xiaoming dares to add more time. This one has a picture.